Hi, this is Mick Burgess, and I'm joined backstage at Newcastle University with Phil Rind from Sacred Reich. Phil, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Well, a couple of shows into your current UK tour. How do you think they're going so far?
It's going great. We couldn't be happier. The response has been fantastic, and we're glad to be back.
Yeah. So what sort of show have you got prepared for the fans on this tour?
A mix of old and new, and we're really excited, to have a new record out, after 23 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit of a surprise, I think, for everybody, us included. So it's really nice to have new songs to play. I mean, it's been a long time, so.
Because there's been a couple of changes in the lineup since you last toured the UK, I think back in 2017. So founder member Jason's left and Greg Hall as well. Mm-hmm. It must be quite a blow to sort of lose a couple of long-standing members.
Well, sometimes things don't work out. Mm-hmm. And that's just kind of how it is. That's that's how it went with Greg. People ask. Sometimes relationships don't work out, and we're fortunate that the timing worked out great. That Dave, we were able to get Dave back because the drummer is such a big part of your sound and what you're doing, and not to mention that we spend so much time together closely that it's important that we get along. So it really couldn't have worked out any better.
I was going to say having Dave, it's 23 years since he was last in the band. It must have seemed like it was just yesterday since he was sitting behind you keeping the beat.
Well, it's interesting in some ways, yes. And then in other ways, I was like, wow, it's been 23 years. Mm-hmm. It's a long time. Mm-hmm. He's had a lot of experiences over those 23 years, so he brings a lot with him,
So he brings a lot more back than he probably left with.
Well, he has a lot of different experiences, good experiences, bad experiences, all the experiences that you have. He brings that with him.
Has he changed his style much then since he's come back, or is it?
I remember a while ago, and I knew Dave was good. I forgot how good he was. He's been getting better for 23 years, and Dave's the kind of guy that really works at it every day.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of drummers have their hands taped up and their hands are always destroyed. He has such good technique. His hands look like little baby's bottoms. and every day he plays drums. It's very important for him, to work on his craft, and it's pretty inspiring to see.
You don't tell them they look like baby's bottoms, though, do you?
No, I don't.
Oh, we've got rugged hands there, Dave.
We keep that to ourselves. And with Jason, when I joined the band, which is ancient history, Jason and I did everything together, and I'm probably closest to Jason than anyone on the entire planet. And we tried everything to make it work, and it just didn't, it became obvious.
Time to move on.
And it was really sad, and I cried for 3 days straight because it broke my heart. But, Joey just kind of fell into our laps.
So where did he come
So I was friends with his dad, Tim. And his dad, Tim, said, I play drums. I have a little studio if you need help working on demos, because Dave was still a machine head. And we're like, great. So we'll go down to jam, and Joey would engineer. And it would just be me and Tim, just kind of fleshing out songs. I don't play guitar very well. I play guitar good enough.
Yeah.
And then Joey would be engineering, and I would just hand the guitar to Joey. I go, play the parts the right way. There was, like a guitar player would. So Joey wound up playing on all the demos. Mm-hmm. So when we need a guitar player to record the record, we're like, well, Joey already knows all the songs and he's great. And then we're like, he's not going to want to hang out with a bunch of 50-year-old dudes. And after about 2-3 days of being in the studio, we realized our guitar player is already in there. We don't have to look. He has such a great attitude, and it's just, we're very fortunate in the way everything worked out.
It's also, I think some people say, when long-standing members leave, it's also an opportunity to do different stuff. It's an injection of new blood into the band.
Yes.
It sort of reinvigorates everybody. So I always like to look at the positives of that side of things as well. Yeah.
Well, we know that life is impermanence.
Yes.
And to think that it's otherwise would be foolish. Mm-hmm. So we can fight it, or we can just accept the way things are and move forward.
The really great thing about this is we've got a new album from you as well, Awakening. And you must be thrilled with the reaction it's received so far.
We were just pleased the way the record turned out. So we were already very excited. And then, to see that the response has been very positive is heartwarming.
Yeah. So why did you decide the time was right now for a new?
This is when the songs came. I mean, strictly. I mean, that's all there is. I don't know why. I don't know.
There's no magical reason. It's just
the magical reason is that the songs came back. I mean, to me, that's pretty magical reason because I never really expected it. I sat down previously and tried, and like it just wasn't happening. I was like, oh. I don't know why. I don't question it. I just
we're just glad it is.
I just accept it. Yeah.
So when did you start writing for the album then?
Greg was still in the band, so Cheapers was it like November of 2017? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first song we wrote was Divide and Conquer, and then we got a record deal, and then we made some changes.
I mean, were you able to sort of rework on the ideas that you've had around for a long, long time? Has it all been
it's all new stuff. Yeah, all new stuff.
So did you approach the songwriting process differently now that you've got new members on the later stuff that you wrote, or is it all? Have you still got that same sort of way that you write together?
Well, the process, we never really had a demo before we all jammed songs before. This process has been much different than any other record we did. I mean, it was always much more organic previously, where, we'd write songs, come in the jam pad and practice them, and we'd have a lot of time rehearsing. We were always really well rehearsed before we got in the studio. And Dave was touring, and we were demoing songs. Which I really like that process because you can hear them and you can work on them.
Yes.
So I think moving forward, it's probably going to be the new way that we do stuff. It was really beneficial because we worked the songs. A lot of the songs were in a different key, and we redid them. When I started singing, and I realized it wasn't happening, and there were certain lyrics that I wound up changing, and it was a really cool thing.
Yeah. Did you use all the songs you wrote on this record? Or did you have some left over?
We had a few odds and ends, but nothing really that's like a record material, more like B-side stuff.
Yeah. So whereabouts did you do the recording?
There's a place called the Platinum Underground in Arizona. This dude John's studio, it's incredible, and he's getting a new board. Like it's like the holy grail board. There's only 10 of these Focusrite mixing consoles ever made, 10. And it's the biggest, greatest one of all of those. I don't even know how he was able to acquire it. It's going to be incredible. I can't wait to go recording it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of buttons and lights on it.
But the thing is just the way that it sounds.
Yeah.
It's going to be killer.
And I live and I die down in Death Valley.
Because you've always had your eye on social and political issues in your lyrics. And the world's a very different place today than it was
or the
last
same.
record.
Or the same.
Yes, or the same.
You're exactly the same.
It's gone around big full circle. I mean, what sort of themes are you exploring on this album?
Well, I think, there's a song like Divide and Conquer and the song like Revolution, which are kind of like stepping back and looking at the kind of current state of things. But I think for the most part, it's very positive and encouraging. Because I think when you look, you see a lot of discord and a lot of people arguing, and there's a lot of noise and a lot of fussing. And I think people need encouragement.
Yeah.
So I think the overall theme on this record is trying to encourage the people.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned it's great having new songs. Do you think that sort of reinvigorated you on your live show, having a few songs? New songs
absolutely.
And how many of them did you play in your set?
4 or 5?
Yeah.
5 new songs.
And fans can sometimes be a bit resilient to new songs at first, and some
resistant.
Yeah, even when AC/DC did Black and Black at first, it's like people stand there, their arms folded.
Yes,
now they are classics.
Yes, and I understand this. I don't expect anything other, and I know that when people aren't really familiar with it, maybe they're just taking the opportunity to listen and absorb it. Maybe they don't have the new record and they haven't heard it before, so that's fine. If your expectation meets reality, then it's fine.
But they are going down well.
Yeah. And, we play an old song, a new song, an old song, a new song. So I don't expect like an overwhelming reaction to all the new stuff. And I've been pleasantly surprised that people are singing along with some of the new stuff already. There was one night I was just overwhelmed. I mean, I was like getting emotional on stage. They were singing Salvation, which is like my favorite song on the record, and I was like, fuck, this is so awesome.
Well, let's hope you get a good reaction like that in Newcastle tonight.
Whatever it is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we understand that the people that come are here, they paid to be here, and they made a decision to come see our band. And how they enjoy themselves is entirely up to them, whether it's stage diving or in a pit or just standing back.
Yeah.
I know when I go to a show, I just watch.
Yes.
So why would I expect any more from anyone else?
Yeah. Because the UK shows end on Wednesday in Wolverhampton at KK Steel Mill, KK Downing's very own venue.
Yeah.
He played there just a couple of weeks ago with Tim Ripper Owens and Les Binks, doing some classic Judas Priest.
I hope we run into him.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Let's hope so. That
would be great.
Yeah. And where do you head after the tour's finished? Is that you done, or have you got some European shows coming up?
Well, after this tour, we're done, I think December 14th, Munich's the last show, and then we go home. Before we came here, we did 50 shows in the US over 2 months. We were supporting Guar. We did 2 months in the US. The day after that ended, we got on a plane, flew to Copenhagen, had a day off and started this tour. So this is another 32 shows in 37 days. So
not a lot of time off.
So we did 3 months straight, pretty much. We did like 87 or 84 shows in a row. So we go home and then we're off for about 6 weeks. And then we head to Japan. We're doing a couple shows in Japan, then Australia and New Zealand. And Violence is coming with us, so that'll be fun.
It's good to be busy because it shows that people want to come and see you.
And then we have a US tour planned for March. Then we have European festivals next summer, and we're planning for next November in Europe again. And
Christmas is just a few weeks away. What are you doing for Christmas this year?
Christmas is canceled at my house.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. See, so I grew up Jewish, so Christmas was never a thing. But the rest of my family was always into Christmas. Yeah. So the last 20 years I've been Buddhist. So.
But you can have time off with your family though.
But you know, it was funny. So my wife a couple years ago said, "I don't think I'm Christian anymore." And I went, "What?" She goes, "I don't think I am." And I go, the first thing I said is, "Christmas is canceled." They're like, "Whoa, whoa." And then this year she called me, she goes, "Christmas is canceled." I go, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, we're not going to do it. I got rid of the tree and everything." And I was like, I'm pretty shocked.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think my family has been, they don't like the very commercialized aspect of it. So I don't know how long Christmas is going to be canceled at my house for. And it may be an overcorrection this year. But I think the thing is that we're all together.
Yeah.
And I think maybe we'll just go volunteer somewhere and do some nice things for other people.
Oh, well, I hope you have a really nice
But I just thought that was crazy. Like, it was a shock to me. My wife told me Christmas is canceled. And my wife asked my daughter, Maddie's 15, she's like, "Are you sure?" And Maddie goes, "Fuck that shit." And I went, "Whoa! Wow." And my oldest son goes, "How do you feel raising, four, not even agnostics? How do you feel raising four atheists?" I don't know if everyone's atheist, but I'm okay with it.
That's the most different answer I've ever had to that question over the years.
Yeah, this is why.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're an unusual family.
Yeah. But so 2020, you said it's going to be a busy time, a lot of touring, possibly starting to work on another record, you mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Well, Phil, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, sure.
It's been good fun chatting to you.
It's been a great day. You know what also was awesome today? there was a protest. I was like, these are my people. I just went down. I heard that. I went and gave the cops a bunch of shit. I was like, why are you hassling these kids? Leave them alone. They're like, what? I'm like, I go, look, I'm not from here. This ain't my business. But why are you hassling the kids? And there was one cop particularly hassling one particular kid. And I went over to the kid. I go, they're going to make you leave in 10 minutes. And this guy has it out for you. As a father of 4, I'm just asking you to leave and go home. Discretion is the better part of valor. And he said, I'm not running away. I go, of course you're not. And I love that. I just had to say it. I didn't think you would listen. But I just don't want to see you ruin your day by going to jail just because this guy's being a jerk. And I went over to them. I'm like, what is your guys' problem? And they're like, well, look at me. I'm like, what are you doing? What would happen if you just left? Nothing. Everybody would eventually get hungry and go home. Why are you hassling these kids? They're trying to protect the planet and you're giving them a bad time.
It's all happening in Newcastle.
It's all happening, and it's everywhere.
It is.
And it's everywhere. And I'll tell you what, the older people are always like, these kids got no respect and they're dumb and they're lazy and blah, blah, blah. And my oldest son is a philosophy and history major, and he sent me this thing. And it said, the kids today have no respect for the old ways. They're lazy. They don't want to work. They blah, 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 blah. 4,000 years ago in ancient Greece. So nothing has changed.
I've seen that quote.
And I look at it, like I look at my kids and I'm like, you're smarter, you're more inclusive, you're going to save us from ourselves. They're not the ones that destroyed the planet.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm like, God bless the kids, man.
Yeah. Well, Phil, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for
Cheers.